All right, Electric Callboy.
This is the second start. Because I don't know, something crazy happened. There's always some tech issue, but I'm excited to talk about Electric Callboy again because that's when you first joined the Cardivox situation. It was like it was a million different releases, and it was like views and views and views and views. And I remember how pumped you were, and I was like, don't get used to it. Don't get used to it. But
beginner's luck.
No, they were also good videos. Don't sell yourself short, I think is the phrase. But we're back here again, and right when we had to start over, we were trying to figure out which of us had done more breakdowns of Electric Callboy, and I think it's either you or we're tied. I don't know exactly. But I think it's either you or we're tied. Mm-hmm. And it's fun because they're nice and chill. You said you've heard a little bit of this song already, is that right?
I just like when we were doing a sound check, I was just, I thought I was going to record the video. So I heard like 20 seconds.
Gotcha. I have no idea what the balance of this song is. Is it all singing? Is it a lot of screaming? Knowing them, probably a little bit of both. But I do know it's like they released it on Halloween. So it's going to be like kind of spooky. Who's to say? So for anybody watching, what we do with these videos is we do a long form discussion. It's kind of like podcasty, but we use the song as a way to talk about
as an excuse to nerd out about vocal technique.
As an excuse to rant, to nerd out. And I focus. Well, Veronna, tell them if anybody this is their first video here. Tell them a little bit about what you're going to be focusing on with this song.
Okay, so I'm the clean vocal coach here at the Cardivox Academy. So I'm a singer-songwriter, and I'm starting a little bit with harsh vocals with you. We had a couple of lessons. I'm gonna try to tell you what I hear at the best of my capacity. But yeah, so I'm gonna focus more about like the clean, the singing parts, basically. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cute what you like. When I first started with Cardivox, you said, "Oh, you're gonna do clean singing." I mean, I was like, well, you mean singing?
Yeah.
What is that clean singing? Just sing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anyway,
yeah. It's a cute term. I love it.
You know, and it's a term that also like a lot of people in the harsh vocal, extreme vocal community, such as myself, also think is not that good. But you have to have something. You have to have something to kind of do because you know certainly, and what you do are different. But you know what I'm saying. So it's kind of It's kind of
it's fine. It's I love it, and it makes sense.
It works, gets the meaning across, and I focus mostly on the nasty, harsher side. Now, a lot of what they do in Electric Callboy is a little bit different than what I do and teach. I teach the nastier, grosser side, but it's fun music. So, anything you want to add?
Oh, this is not nasty for you. What the harsh vocals they do? It's pretty soft for you.
You set me up to get in trouble.
No, I mean, okay.
So it's less like animalistic. It's less like Electric Callboy. They sound like people. They don't sound like monsters. Yes, you know the crazy monster noises.
More monsters. Okay, I get it.
Well, but this is a Halloween song, so.
Oh, maybe they're gonna get their monster out.
Maybe I don't know. Somebody's gonna say something in the comments.
It all sounds.
I just know it.
Okay. It all sounds pretty like Halloween to me. Harsh vocals all the time.
Sure. Well, let's see what they do. I don't know what YCT PKPI means, and I don't know what Tanzneid means. Apparently, it's a mixture of the words for dance and something else. But let's see what this is all about. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's do it.
I see the motion, I can feel it beating. My legs are tight onto the ground. I can't not move, but I just wanna feel it. Gimme, yeah, I'ma cut the fucking rope. Tanzneid, everybody jump around. Tanzneid, when the voices on the road. Tanzneid, everybody's getting down. Tanzneid, till the promo zone. A fever burning in my soul, and I love what it feels like. And I will never let it go till you know what it feels like. I want it, I need it, and I will keep it up for me. A fever burning
she's gonna be an alien or something. She's gonna turn into some sort of monster and eat him. I just know it. But this, you know, I always talk first. Verona, why don't I toss it over to you? We're
Okay. So, I mean, you want me to talk about the harsh vocals or the clean vocals, or?
you know what? Verona. You talk about whatever you want to talk about. You talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Hey, is it me or like the harsh vocals had like different larynx position? Is it like I think that's what I heard, like
Yeah,
and then going up and then going down and then in the middle and then going up and then
yeah.
that's what I heard.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, of course. We had darker
Yeah?
tones and textures. We had brighter tones and textures because, like we
It was
talked about,
nice.
like we talked about before, it's the same instrument. You know, it's the same instrument just used in slightly different ways. This is such an Electric Callboy song
Of
through and
course.
through. You know what I mean?
For the clean parts, he's just so tight. Like the lead singer, like he's really like his beat, like it's so freaking tight and like clean, and his vowels are like very bright, and you can sense that he's smiling when he recorded that. Like he's like that. La la la.
Oh
la.
yeah,
He's not a vertical la, 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 dark that would give him a darker tone. It's super bright. So if you feel your tone is like, that's a quick tip, like on both sides, if you feel your tone is too bright, go vertical. If you feel your tone is too dark, go horizontal. So he's horizontal for sure.
you know, actually, that's interesting. I was going to ask you about that because, you know, obviously his singing, especially after the harsh vocal part, especially the part after they're screaming, his singing is very bright and very forward and very pronounced. And one thing that I often will find, now I'm obviously not working with a lot of clean singing students, but one thing that I will often find is that it can be difficult for singers to sound bright and good. Or what'll happen is they often go a little, hello, my baby, hello, my darling. And it gets to be kind of like quacky, kind of like overly like pretending to be a Broadway singer, right? And so I was going to ask you, what are some ways that someone trying to sing bright from, you know, in your neck of the woods can avoid sounding like a bad play actor and more controlled? And it sounds like mouth shape has a lot to do with that. Yeah.
Yes, and sometimes it's also just the larynx position, you know, like let's say I like to compare the larynx with an elevator,
Sure.
and it just kind of follows the pitch, right? When you go down, oh, it's like it just follows the pitch. But sometimes, let's say you're at your highest level, you're at the floor 40, you know, and maybe for that note you should be at floor 35. Still high, but not as high as what you are. So tiny, like some millimeters down could do a big difference for your tone. Still keeping the brightness, but not like squeaky and like too tight. Like I'm at the end of my elevator, you know. So instead I could just be here and I'm gonna be still bright, but not as like too bright, you know. So that's kind of like what I would recommend. But so far, the students you've sent me, because Mark's sending me students.
Well, and you
What I
send me
know-
students too, you know?
Yeah. But like from those who started with false vocal, like harsh vocals, what they often have, it's that they're not able to be clean. They always raspy when they try to sing. So that's why it's so impressive. Like, but is it the same guy who screams that sings, or it's two different guys?
You know, I've heard that it goes back and forth. It goes back and forth. You know what I mean? It can be sometimes it's a little bit of both. I've never actually seen this band live, and I've only ever seen their music videos. I've never watched live videos of them. So to be honest, I'm not sure. But
Let us know in the comments.
Let us know in the comments below. Yeah, and you know, going back to what you were mentioning earlier, I think that's one of the benefits of you know, working the system that we have set up. Because, for example, you know, sometimes like I had a student who is trying to do like these really like bright belted harsh vocalizations, right? And his issue was not the way that he activated the distortion. His issue was his mix, his head voice, right? And so that's when I can be like, you know who's an expert on mix and head voice? Here you go.
Yeah.
slide on over this way. You know what I mean? Or if somebody wants to get a little gnarlier, bring it on over here.
Yeah.
And so I think that's something that has been pretty valuable. Let's keep going here, and then maybe we can
Yeah, let's
talk
keep
about
going.
some of the screams. Here we go. 1 second.
that I hold inside of me. The heat is rising up with every minute. I don't wanna give it up. But I know working at my suffering. Gimme, yeah. Rumble, cut the fucking round. Tanzneid, everybody jump around. Tanzneid, when the voices from the road. Tanzneid, everybody's getting down. Tanzneid, till the ball blows out. A fever burning in my soul. And I love what it feels like. And I will never let it go. Till you know what it feels like. I want it, I need it. And I will keep it up for me. A fever burning in my soul. That I hold inside of me.
Okay, cool. That's a good pause spot there. That's one thing that I like. I will say sometimes I'll talk with people who aren't like big Electric Callboy fans. And one of the criticisms that will get put towards Electric Callboy is that people will say like, "Oh, you always know what's coming next. You always know what's coming next." And I think that I think that if you're going to critique something, you have to first understand what that thing is trying to do. You know what I mean? For example, you wouldn't necessarily critique a fork for being bad at eating soup, because that's not what a fork is meant to do, right? And with this kind of music, the goal of it is for everybody in the crowd to be doing this together,
Yeah, exactly.
collectively at the same. It's a very like, I think what people sometimes miss is that this is a very community-based music. You know what I mean? It's everybody wants to have an
100%,
experience
yeah.
together. As much as I love like really complicated, like you really gotta sit there and furrow your brow.
In your feels and yeah.
It's a very singular experience. When I go to concerts like that, I'm scowly and I'm having a great time, but I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't make any new connections. But when you go to a show like this, you make like buddies, right? So I actually think that's the strength of the music. And something that, one area where you and I do cross over is in songwriting. We write very different music, but we both write music, right? So what do you
I mean,
think?
I used to write really like not sentimental, but like in my feels music, talking about my anxiety and my things. And now I've post pandemic, I was like, I just miss having fun. Let's just write songs about like
about having a good
love
time.
and fun and confidence. And just because you know what, after pandemic, when I brought my first album, here it is, if you want to buy it.
Oh, yep. It's a good album. It's a good album.
Yeah, because there were still CDs. It was in December 2018 that I released it. Anyways, but yes, and when COVID like venues opened back like in 2021, and I did these songs, it was so like intense. I could see like people were crying in the crowd, like it was too intense, And I was like, I mean, I love this emotional connection, but for me, it was too intense. So anyways, yeah, I got not as electronic as them, but like I got more into the dancing stuff because for me, I needed that for my shows. Because sometimes, yeah, as you said, we want deep stuff sometimes, but we also want fun music as well.
And not
Has
only
its purpose.
it does, and not only do we want it, but like we need it too. Sometimes
We need it, yeah.
Sometimes you just need to have a good time with good people, And I think that Electric Callboy, part of the reason that they're so popular isn't just because they're good musicians, but because they're good entertainers. Like they're very devoted to what they're doing, and it's fun. Like, do I listen to Electric Callboy on my own around the house? Literally never. Do I think if I went to an Electric Callboy concert, it'd be one of the best shows I've ever been to in my life?
We would have a
Absolutely.
blast.
Absolutely, yes. I want to talk a little bit about the harsh vocalization here, because I'm always one of the things I enjoy the most about when we talk about vocals is where things are similar and where things diverge. Where teaching techniques meet and where they separate, because some of the things that we do are very similar, but like one thing that we do that's very different is the prioritization of the larynx, I think, amongst the two disciplines, right? So a lot of these screams, it's interesting. He started in a lower space, which sounded more loose and open, which often is associated with like false chord vocalizations, this right sort of like baseline sound. And then he moved up into a tighter, more staticky tone. And one of the things that I like about, especially that I'm hearing in this song, is now, of course, there's, you know, normalization, there's compression on the tracks. I don't know how they produced it, but one of the things is I don't hear a lot of excess push. And this is something that, and one of the main benefits of having your expertise with some of my harsh students is that, in fact, Josiah, what's up, Josiah, just recently came from you over to me. And one of the things that's really helping him is because he's enjoying like these false chord or like higher sounds, is the realization that you don't have to have a ton of air to make these sounds. So oftentimes when I'm working with students to make pitch screams, we're not doing it like, oh, let's do false chord, let's do fry. We're like, what can your voice do? What does your voice want to do at low effort levels? And it often doesn't sound cool, but it's just like this, hey guys, hey, and like right there, does that sound cool? The student will be like, I think it sounds terrible. And I'll be like, was it easy? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, was it up here? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, let's go for it. So a lot of what I hear, I don't know how they learned. I've never spoken to these guys, but a lot of what I hear feels very, very natural and balanced. And some of that is due to expertise, but some of that is also due to what I imagine is technique. Because we can take these, and it doesn't take a lot of pressure or power, right? It doesn't take a lot of pressure or power. See, I just started ranting because I think it's cool. I forgot what I was even going to say initially. But I think that's one thing. I think that's one thing I like about these guys is everything they do sounds so easy. Their screams sound.
And it has to be.
Yeah.
Something sounds hard, like that singer's gonna have problems when he's gonna be touring. You know, that's always what I'm saying.
Especially with these guys jumping around like this, I can only imagine that at their shows they have to be like. Can you imagine going and seeing this band and they just stand still the whole time? What a letdown that would be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We have to go see a live show. That would be great.
Well,
But,
maybe they'll do a tour that comes down through Quebec and then eventually ends up in Arizona. Who's to say? I don't know. But yeah, one thing I hear, I remember kind of what I was going to get to with their harsh vocalization, because you had talked about laryngeal movement. Another thing, and this is something that's really valuable for pitch screams. When we talk about pitch screams, everything has pitch. I mean, this has pitch, right? But when we're talking about pitch, meaning screams where you can hear true chord phonation, a lot of what can be very valuable, especially for these sounds, are vocal tract placements and positions that are very useful for clean singing as well. So
was that what they did?
What they did?
Was there a pitch? Like, were they using vocal cords?
For a lot of it, yes.
Yeah,
for a lot of it, yes. And you can have different balances of that, right? So for example, we were talking about being bright. We were talking about, and I don't scream the same way that these guys do. I'm going to scream the way that I do. But we were talking about being bright, right? We were talking about being forward. It's like this, hey, I can show you the world. Like this sort of thing. Right? That's also really valuable for like these pitch screams. A lot of times my students will try to go low and tough, but I say, hey, get bright. Get, hey, and that makes it a lot more comfortable and a lot more controlled, and it makes the pitch a lot easier too. And that's one that just go ahead. What were you gonna say? Because I'm just going.
I was gonna say another one of our students that we have together. Like he's in Quebec, but he told me last class that because we've been practicing his head voice so much, and he told me like I've been with him for over a year, and I remember he didn't really want to sing. He just wanted to be better at screaming with singing lessons. And last class, finally, he really told me like, wow, my high screams, I got them like with Mark because of my head voice, because we've been doing head voice and mixed voice, and it was so easy, and we're getting at it. And so it was just cute to see that my weird like almost opera exercises for his head voice is like, why am I gonna do that? Like, why? But then poof, high screams unlocked.
Well, and exactly, and this is something that I think a lot of the harsh vocal landscape doesn't talk about enough,
Mm.
is, within the harsh vocal world, there's a ton of talk about breath support, and there's a ton of talk about sound source. So what bits are vibrating, right?
Mm.
Is it, your false folds, is it your epiglottis? Like, and
Mm.
that's really important. But what a lot of people don't really talk about, and I'm not talking about other coaches, I'm talking about the landscape, is tract shaping, vocal tract shaping. Because when
Mm.
I do something, if I do like a, like that, right? Which that sound terrible, but that's not my thing, so I'm not worried about it.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, thank you. But if I do something like that, it's more than just the vocal cords. It's
I
also
love it.
hey, coming from you, that's a compliment. I'll take it. But you know what I'm saying? It's the
Yeah.
shape of the vocal tract. It's the shape of the pharynx. It's the shape of all this.
Yeah.
And so
You need to train that.
you have to train it. Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know how hard it is. Like how long did it take you to feel really in control? Because you've been at this for a very long time, really in control of your head voice. How long did that take you, would you say?
No, I started with the head voice actually
Oh, really?
when I was a
Interesting.
teenager because back in the days there were no pop vocal coaches. There was
Hmm.
You could only take lessons with opera singers. They were the only one teaching because there was no science and techniques really, not in Quebec. Like it was not there yet. So my first vocal coach, she was a soprano. I started at 12 years old. So I did
Mm-hmm.
3 years of opera with her. Even if I wanted to sing pop, she was training my head voice so much. I was, no jokes, I was doing 30 minutes of exercises in the class. My class was 45 minutes. I was singing my song just 15 minutes at the end.
Oh,
Not
really?
even. Like
Wow.
but at the end, it's like that's how I grew like so much power in my head voice. And now I'm really thankful for that. And even when I was in college and jazz singing and I was doing more lower chest voice, like rounder, I was still like blending it with my head voice. So I would say I started with that. And that's also what I do with my students. I start with the head voice. We're gonna
So
have a lot of exercises, guys, girls, non-binary. I don't care. You're gonna train your head voice because we
mhm,
don't talk with it. So
right.
some girls, like especially, have maybe 2, 3 girls from France. They talk with head voice, but that's very rare.
Mhm.
And so we might do more chest voice. So it depends of the students, but guys like from Cardivox, it's mostly just guys.
Yeah.
I have like one lady, one or two here and there,
Mhm.
but so they've never sang with their head voice at all. Almost nothing. It's like they call it falsetto, right? Because
Mhm.
falsetto means fake voice, and that was the term for male in opera.
Mhm.
Because for them that's a fake voice, and it's kind of negative. I hate the word falsetto. It's just I hate it. It's head voice. Whatever, it's head voice. Okay, it's a little breathy because you haven't trained it yet. But I don't know what's happening with my light. There's like a cloud and I'm losing my sun.
I
Sorry.
just thought it was dramatic effect.
Yes, it's dramatic. I hate
you were
falsetto.
yeah,
Tor.
you were getting super passionate about what you were saying, and all of a sudden we get this vignette. I was like,
It's
wow, she's like summoning the
happening.
wind, summoning the weather, controlling the weather, dude. It
So
sounds like
anyway, so the guys, like, for example, like one of the newest student you sent me, he wanted to work his belt and his high belt, and I
Mhm.
said, of course high belt with your chest voice, but we're gonna need also the mixed voice. How can we get a mixed voice? We need a strong head voice. You
Mhm.
cannot have a mix if you don't have a strong head voice. That's the thing they really need to understand. But so far, they're all up for it. I have no Cardivac students who don't agree with that. They're just like, all right, I'm just gonna do whatever you tell me to do, coach. I love
Yeah.
you. I love you, my students.
Well, I think I'm glad that they're so open to it. And I think part of the
Yeah.
reason for that too is, it sounds like you have um really benefited from a multidisciplinary approach in your own path. And one thing
Yeah.
that I think is maybe not necessarily a weakness, but a missed opportunity in the harsh vocal landscape is that a lot of people, like when a lot of people go to a harsh vocal coach to learn false chord or to learn fry or to learn whatever. And I kind of think it's maybe better to go to a harsh vocal coach to learn to scream. And then that coach helps you find what your body is most comfortable doing, the sounds that you want to make, and where those things kind of meet in the middle. So I think that kind of helps me, because I try to convey that in my videos. And so I think that brings in a lot of people who are very open. Like I feel like a lot of students that I get are very open-minded, and they're like, I just want to sound cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
And
however we're gonna
they
get
want
there.
highs, so then like, you know how to do high notes, so I'm just gonna follow you. And they're like, and what's amazing is that when I actually apply some of the techniques. Those are the ones that I learned when I was a kid. Like my first coach, who was a soprano, that's what I'm applying on male singers. And
Interesting.
they never do that. Like I've took classes with a tenor and then a baritone, because I wanted to have the training of guys. And I told them, I was like, treat me like a male. I want to see what you do with your guys. And they almost do no head voice.
Interesting.
Almost nothing. The only thing I had was like a flipping exercise, but it was always to kind of like do a little head voice, feel where it resonates, and then try to bring your chest voice like there too. So it was just to help the chest voice, but never a total like. So, and in the soprano, it was the opposite, almost no chest voice, just for the low notes, and then the sooner you could switch into head voice, the better. So I kind of implement this with my students, just for having a strong head voice, and then all the chest voice exercises I learned throughout my life, and also I invented a couple that just I have my secret sauce that just unlocked me and unlocked all of my students. So anyways, so it's just, that's why, I kind of come from a lot of backgrounds. I've been searching answers since I'm a kid. Like, why is it cracking? Why can't I belt higher than a freaking C? It was not high when I didn't have the belt easy as a girl. You know, you have these singers, they can belt whatever note they want. They have no idea what they're doing. They're not going to be, usually they cannot coach because it's too easy for them.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I think I'm a good coach because I had it so hard. Like,
yep.
I didn't know, like, it was not working until it worked. And then until I like, oh, wow, it worked. And then I apply it on my students and like, okay, work for her. Okay, work for him. Okay. It's like, okay, wow, it works for that work. So that means it's a truth.
Sure. Well, I mean,
you have to test your stuff. Yeah.
That's something you mentioned before that I agree with. I think, because I definitely, some things came natural to me, but some things were very difficult. And I think that struggle. So this makes me think of kind of a fun game that we can play. So let's listen to the next part of the song. We may finish it out.
Sorry, sorry for the podcast part, but
don't be.
They're probably gonna like it.
Every video we upload, we get 4 or 5 comments with people being like, this is dumb. But we get like for each of those, we get 20, like we get like maybe like 10 comments where people were like, I love the rants, more rants. And so that's why I'm not trying to rein it in, because people like direct feedback from viewers is that they like when we kind of go off on our own little tangents. But I will say, perfect. I think this would be a fun game. Let's listen to just whatever next part is natural. And I want you, this is going to be a little bit flawed because you don't have a student right now. We're hypothesizing, but if you were to make some sort of like how you would advise somebody to learn how to sing, like whatever we listen to coming up, what sort of approach you would take, what sort of thing you would do. And I'll try to get a little harsh and a little clean in there, but I don't know where the song's going to go. I think it could be fun. Like based on what we hear, what kind of lesson plan will we put together?
And you're going to do the same for the harsh part.
Yeah.
Like if I want to learn it, what would you tell me? I mean, you actually have a student in front of you. Like who cannot scream, who can't scream. So what should I do?
Well, as you know, even though I do a lot of clean singing in Kardashev, there's I've told you multiple times, I think my mix and my head voice could improve a lot too. So, but don't base it on me because I've been doing this for a long time. Base it on just like some sort of beginner. Here we go. Okay. You ready? Put your teacher hat on. There we go.
I would say dance.
Yeah.
outside. I'm gonna take you like that. I'm gonna make you burn, burn, burn. Till the fire goes out. A fever burning in my soul, and I love what it feels like, and I will never let it go till you know what it feels like. I want it, I need it, and I will keep it up for me. A fever burning in my soul that I hold inside of me, that I hold inside of me, that I hold inside of me.
It made sense just to finish it out.
Yeah,
It made
of course.
sense to just finish it out. All right, so who's gonna give their little mini lesson plan first? You or me? You want to rock paper scissors it? We can rock paper scissors it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. You ready? You played rock paper scissors before. You know how this works.
Yeah, there's rock and paper scissors in Quebec too. Okay.
Yeah, there was this pause where I was like, "Shit, baby, I don't know."
The delay, it's the Zoom, man.
You know, that's always I'm that's always the trick. That's always the trick. If you assume it's the same somewhere else, people are like, "Oh, so everything's just like America, huh?" So Americans said, if you assume it's different, they're like, "We have it over here," and you're like, "Oh my god." I
Roche, papier,
can't."
ciseaux. Allumette. We have the allumette. Do you have the fire thingy? How do you say allumette?
Well, sometimes people throw dynamite in there, but I think that's
Yeah,
bullshit.
yeah. Roche,
I
papier, ciseaux, allumette. No.
No,
Okay.
none of that.
No.
Now, here's the thing: do you go 1, 2, 3, shoot, or do you 1, 2, shoot?
Roche, papier, ciseaux, boom. Then we
Okay. Okay, who else? So 1, 2, 3, shoot. Okay, so loser has to go first. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to call it because French sounds cooler than English. So you go.
Roche, papier, ciseaux.
Oh, did we do we
One
do
more
both in
time.
paper? All right.
Roche, papier, ciseaux.
Uh,
Ah!
loser goes first. Okay. So if I was teaching a brand new student, let's pretend I'm gonna kind of paint for you the average.
Teach me.
Well, I'm gonna pretend I'm gonna paint for you a picture of the average student that I get. Right,
Okay.
the normal student I get. The normal student I get is someone who has either been self-teaching for 3 to 6 months, or they've done a combination of self-teaching and lessons for like 6 months to a year. Okay. Generally speaking, if they're a student, and one thing with a lot of people, like if they were like, "Hey, Mark, I'm gonna say it wrong. Tanzneid came out from Electric Callboy. I really like it. I wanna do this sort of thing." Right? This student is going to be creating these sounds when they try on their own with too much pressure. I can guarantee you, like, that's what it. Whenever somebody comes with this, it is always they're going ha, 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 and they're putting a ton of pressure on their vocal cords. So actually, you know, I would have to assess what their relationship is with distortion, what their understanding is with it, how their body reacts. Because a lot of the time when we're making distortion, it can, and I don't have like the neuroscience behind it. This is just from what I've observed and talking to other people. It can kind of like, the person doesn't feel afraid or like they're in danger, but it feels kind of like, it sort of like triggers the tension that you get when you're afraid or in danger. Because if you think about like, I was talking with Sebastian Croteau, who lives in your neck of the woods, one time, and he's a vocalist and he specializes in teaching a lot of like he has a whole company about training people how to do monster voices. I'm pretty sure it's called the Monster Factory. And he said something very insightful once that I thought was really smart. And he talked about how if you think about the time when we make distortion, most of the time when we're making it, it's because something is not going well. You're throwing up. You're like coughing because you're choking. Right? So a lot of the times for daily life, or it's just associated with effort, you're picking something up. Right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of the time when I get students who are specifically inspired by this type of scream, this scream that has a balance of true chord phonation along with some sort of supraglottal tissue activation creating distortion, there is some sort of like, for lack of a better term, fear response or something that is tensing up their body. So the first thing that I would do with this student is I would find relaxed ways just to create grit, even if they weren't necessarily exactly this, because we got to convince their brain it's safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Wow, it's almost therapy.
in some ways, I guess you could say so. But I'll show you one of my favorite exercises. Well, I don't have anything here.
It's free class.
I'll just use my shirt, right? Normally I have like a cloth or something, but what we do, because a lot of times what'll happen is the back of the tongue tenses up, which can be good for some techniques. It can be good for like a, like that sort of thing. But generally speaking, I want to start people away from tension, especially if they're new. So what we do is we take the tongue and we grab it like we're rolling a cigarette, right? Not that I, as a vocal coach,
Never done that for real.
Oh, I was like pack a day for a while in college. Yeah, I was smoking and
wow, how do you sound so clean when you sing? That's a miracle.
Well, I haven't smoked cigarettes in like over 10 years. But I was a smoker and a drinker and but we grab our tongue like we're rolling a cigarette. And you pull
Why do you take this so that it's dry?
Yeah, well, I do the clock because people don't generally want to touch their own tongue. You know what I'm saying? But they grab it and then you don't yank the tongue out. You just relax the tongue outward and you feel a little bit of a pull here. And the first thing we do is we just kind of yawn at it to loosen it up, right? And then from there,
it's gonna make good videos. Good shorts.
And then at this point, I don't care if they're vocal folds. Well, also like, like I said, usually I have them grab like a cloth or something so they're not all bunched up but at this point, I don't care if their vocal cords are engaged or not. Because I'm going to go, if I'm listening to what their body does and I'm letting their body lead the direction we go. So if they're doing this, then we're going to take this route. We're going to take that route. If they're doing this, then we're going to go this way. Two different ways to get to similar places, right? And there's a lot more that I would do after that, but that's just the first step. The first step would be, let's tell your subconscious brain that we're allowed to make rumbly sounds, even if they're not the same rumbly sounds in the screams we're hearing, without having to tense up and get scared. That's the first step I would probably take.
Nice.
What would you do?
I noticed in your classes, you really follow whatever sounds we make. You're just like, that's gonna lead my next class.
Yeah.
Or gonna lead the class. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I used to teach very rigidly. I used to teach like, this is a false chord lesson, and so false chord is what we're false chording, and or like this is a fry lesson, but the thing about it is like, I often found that adds a lot of baggage to the student's process. And one of the benefits of harsh vocalization is there's such a wide standard deviation of what's correct. Like, it's
pretty new. There's actual coaches and science behind it and techniques to be safe. Like it's pretty new.
Yeah. So, and even in the sound too, like if you're teaching a student how to sing on pitch, they're either on F sharp or they're not. They're either on D or they're not. Right. But with this,
that's so hard.
It is hard. Well, I think
too hard to teach, but I mean,
and
I have
you do
a lot
though.
Of students, that's what we're doing. Like, they are tone deaf, but it's so rewarding when they finally are on pitch. Like, there you go, you're a musician now. You can hear stuff.
Yeah, and I think, and your students do, like, the students that we share oftentimes if they go to you and come back to me or something, like, their pitch is remarkably improved, and with harsh vocalization, it's like, hey, does that sound cool? Is it going to help you achieve your goal? Well, then hell yeah. And I've found that there are different types of satisfaction, right? With a lot of people who do like really precision based, like clean singing stuff, a lot of the and this is a bit of a false binary. It's not this black and white, but a lot of times there's this satisfaction of like, I had this goal that seemed insurmountable and now I have achieved it. And then a lot of harsh vocalization is satisfaction that's very like, I have figured out what I am predispositioned to do and how to do it
Mm,
exceptionally well. And so they're kind of
yeah.
different things, but equally I think is interesting. But yeah, so talk to me, somebody, let's say you have a new singer, base it on
You want
kind of
to
just like
sing that song.
they
Yeah.
want to sing that song, minus the harsh stuff, of course, and they're your average student. Describe to me the average student that you get and how you would help them do this.
Okay. I have a couple of average students. Okay.
Fair, fair.
That's true. Okay. So I have the average students that is not tone deaf, but is not precise on the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, like, sometimes that's the first thing we need to do. We need to learn one sentence at a time. Good rhythm, good pitch. And so that's one thing. So that's one thing. Let's say the student is good with pitch and rhythm. So that's another type. That's what I mean. It's another type of average student because, in my opinion, like any, sometimes I have vocal students coming in. They said, "Oh, I had like 2, 3 years of training," and they come and they're so off pitch, and I'm like, "What did your teacher do?" Like, oh, congratulations on your 4 octaves register, but you're just not able to use it in a song. It's
Yeah.
totally off pitch, no rhythm. I prefer you have 1 octave, but you're freaking on.
Mm-hmm.
Freaking on. Like, comfortable, on pitch, good rhythm. Like, that's why also rappers are so popular because rapping is hard, like to have the rhythm and the flow and then like just the rhythm itself is hard. So,
Mm-hmm.
anyways, so that's one thing. Oh, my disco is back.
Hell yeah. Oh
Disco
yeah, look at it
time is
go. Hey,
back.
look at it go. Hell yeah. Hell
I
yeah.
have like a, so if you didn't know last video, it was around, we filmed around the same time. And yeah, at like 3 p.m. But now we changed time in Quebec, so it's 2 p.m. But yeah, so it's like that time of day that I have the sun exactly on my disco ball.
That's awesome.
It's awesome.
Looks cool. It's a cool
Faster.
effect.
We do we like fast or slow?
It actually only it's gonna look when you upload the video that you're taking, I'll be able to see a little bit more. I can only see like little tiny flashes, like on like your hair.
Yeah.
So
So okay, so let's say the student doesn't have a pitch problem. It's really like vocal problems, like vocal techniques. So the average singer, for example, if they bring me Electric Callboy song, first the song is not in their register.
sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I have to tell you, bro, you're baritone. You're not a tenor. And they're like, ah, I hate it. So there's, you have to accept what's your register. It's a really tough process. You need to accept, are you a bass, a baritone, a tenor? Then, however, with techniques, you can fake your way up. You cannot really fake your way down. It's because the lower notes are depending on how thick your vocal cords are, really.
Mhm.
But the higher notes, higher range is how much can you stretch them. So you just start from thicker chords, but you have to get them thin. You can do that. You just need more training.
Sure.
So yeah, so usually I would make sure like we still have room, like that's chest voice, but like do you still have a couple of notes above that you can do that we don't need in the song? Because I don't want you to sing a song that is exactly at the end of your register.
Sure. That makes sense.
You want to have a little wiggle room, you want to have like, is that how we say that? Like, for example, my highest chest voice is on a C5. Like, well, I'm not gonna, like, a song always on a C5 might it's hard to, to be
Yeah.
on your limit all the time. It's the same way when you write. I studied the orchestration and arrangement, and when you write for brass, for example, like trumpet and trombones, you don't want to make them play at the end of their register. They're not going to sound as good. You always want to write charts for them, like in the zone that is comfortable.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So I would just make sure that this is in the comfortable zone. And once we
Mhm.
are sure about the register, we might pitch it down, might pitch it up if the person really sings really high.
Maybe.
Maybe. Or might keep it there. And then it's going to, like, a lot of people when they go high in their chest voice, as same thing as you. So it made me laugh when the first thing you said is like removing the pressure and the tension, and they're just doing too much, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're just pushing too much. And because they think, oh, it's high, it has to be loud, and I need to push everything out. And I'm just like, whoa, don't push. Don't push. Keep it there. Like, it's going to be loud because you resonate well, but it's not going to be loud because you push.
Exactly. Exactly. And that is true. That is so true of so many screams as well. Maybe not all of them, but that's so true. A lot of your volume you get is from the way your voice is resonating, not how much you're pushing on it. Is that something that oftentimes your students have difficulty wrapping their heads around? Because I find that sometimes they're like, well, on the album it's so loud, and I'm like, well, on the album they have to put a compressor on it to help it fight against the rhythm section. You just gotta, it's
And you mix, like, do you know how to mix? Like, it's like the mixing. I mean, Billie Eilish is like, she's singing there so soft, and her voice is in front of you. Like, but it's part of also the tone. Like, if you sing too loud, it affects the tone. And sometimes the tone we want actually is not that loud.
exactly.
It's a little softer, still a belt, but not as loud. And yeah, they forget we're using microphones. That's what I get. They just forget.
Yep.
They want to sound as loud as the album, like that, in their room. But there's like, no, that's not how you do it. And I have one video. It's hard to show like stars, like without a microphone in a room, right? We don't have a lot of recordings of artists we love that just sing like that, a cappella, in a room, not mic, like filmed by a phone, with no effects. But I found one. It's The Weeknd and Ariana Grande, okay? And Ariana Grande is the perfect example of how she plays with volumes and how all of her vocal techniques don't have the same volumes. But on the album, everything's loud. She does head voice way down. She brings her head voice super low. She belts. She does the mixed voice. She does the breathy chest voice. She does everything. And I found that video of a little rehearsal like that in a room, and you don't hear a lot. Like, she's super quiet, and then pow, she belts. It's just super loud on 3 words, and then back super soft in the same sentence. That's a video I show my students sometimes, and because on the album everything's the same level.
Sure.
But that's not how she does it in real life.
And one thing you said that is extremely, like, I resonate with it very much, is that if you go louder, you change the tone.
Yes.
This is I haven't used this example in a while. I'm gonna turn off my keyboard so I don't actually mess something up. But this is kind of like a way that I describe it to my students. Like, so here's my keyboard, right? So if I touch this softly, it's got a certain clackiness, right? And if I'm gonna go louder with the actual production, right? So we're not talking compressor, we're not talking about in the DAW, we're talking about here. If I'm gonna go louder, it's clackier. You get sound from the other pieces, because loudness is a direct result of physical activity. Loudness is not, if we're talking organic, if we're talking about the pieces of our body, loudness is the result of the interaction of muscle and pressure. And when we get the interaction of muscle and pressure, we're going to get different sounds, right? And so sometimes this is one of my least favorite debates in the harsh vocal world, not because it isn't important, but because I think oftentimes people miss the point and they start talking past each other. Are screams loud or quiet? And to me, that's like asking, is food salty or not? It's like, that's a dumb question, right? Because
depends of the recipe.
Yeah. Now, I'm not
cooking.
It depends who's cooking, depends on the recipe, depends on what you like. Now, when I say that's a dumb question, I'm not saying it's dumb if somebody the person's dumb, but I'm saying the wording of the question is flawed, because sometimes I do screams that are really quiet, but that's because like a I like that texture.
Exactly. You like that texture, that tone. Yeah.
That tone, if I lean on it, it's different now. So
yeah, exactly.
I think that's really smart that you have like a video on demand where you can be like, boom,
yes,
boom,
that's Ariana Grande see, and then we listen to the studio version and they're like, what? Because she's so quiet most of the time, and then a belt will just explode out, and she lets it out. She lets it out. Yeah, sorry. Sometimes I have a hard time with my S.
That's okay. Sometimes I forget how to speak English, and it's the only language I know. I mean, like my face will just be like, and we're back.
And we're
So,
back.
and
But
we're
yeah,
back.
and like I was recording last Friday a song I'm gonna release next year. I was in the studio,
Mhm.
and the chorus really high, and either I had a couple of options how I would sing it. Do I
Sure.
belt it? Do I mix voice? Do I do loud head voice, like not breathy head voice, like really well placed, or breathy head voice? And we test them all out, and the winner, even if it was the chorus of a disco song, like you should have seen the layers of vocals on that song. The producer is like just like, oh shoot, I have to.
Uh,
It's gonna be a nightmare to mix that, but I love a good choir of myself.
I love a
But
good segment. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
but we chose the softest one, just because the tone and the breathiness gave like a little sensual vibe
Mm,
of like badass, like confidence, but sensual at the same time. So I had to sing like super here, and with the compressor and everything, the effects, that was the big winner. It's gonna be a
interesting.
nightmare to do live, but for the studio version,
So mote it be.
yeah, I
Yeah.
might belt it live. But it's gonna be another version.
Well, yeah, that's and that's a thing too. I'll tell you this, and then we can probably wrap it up because we're almost at an hour.
Yeah.
And sometimes you do that. Sometimes you do that. Like when we performed a year ago back in Germany, there are some parts where on the album I'm like, something has changed, something is a different, I know. But live there was more chord connection and more weight in the voice because
Yeah,
there
because
kind of had to be.
Mhm.
Well, I think this is a fun song. I
Yeah, I love the song. They're good. I love them.
They
I want
I really do hope that they have a tour that comes through so we can like both go and then like talk about it. We can talk
or
about
we
like
could
whether
meet in the middle. We could
meet in the
We've
middle.
never met in real life. We
Yeah,
could do
I
like
would
a Carnivox experience with call all the community. We do like
that'd be fun. I would say though, if we're gonna meet, this is all I'll say. If we're gonna meet on US soil, maybe wait like another 3 years and then we can do
yeah,
that.
that's
Maybe wait
true.
another 3 years
Yeah,
and then
you
never
come up. You come up there. You come up
Yeah.
here.
The only part of Canada I've ever been to, the only part of Canada I've ever been to is BC.
Mm.
It was cool. Like Vancouver was nice. Food was good.
I've never been to Vancouver. It's
Yeah.
just so far away.
Oh yeah, well, it's not right next door. What are you talking about? You can't just
Your
see.
geography, man. I'm
Well,
the
see,
other guy.
what I'd like to do is I'd like to go visit Nova Scotia in the morning and then just take a quick little drive and then go to Vancouver in in the afternoon. I
Yeah,
think
no,
that'd be
we're
a lot.
not Europe. We're
I think
bigger than Europe.
I think that'd be fun. But anyway, yeah, I think it's a cool song. I think it's a lot of fun. I'm also really glad that people like our rants because we do a lot of them. But any final closing thoughts that you want to point out about this song or anything like that? I have one just
He
bit of
has a
advice, but
high, he has it like also another trick. Like if I were to coach someone, I would say try to sound young. Like
mm,
he has like kind of like da, 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 like really not like dark tone at all. Like it's really bright, and it's almost like he's trying to imitate how he would sound, and in a good way. It sounds
mhm,
because you want a fun voice. Like you want it to be bright and fun, so you don't want it to be dark. So kind of imitate how you were sounding at 14 years old. Like
mhm.
kind of
Yeah,
kind of
I think
vibe.
it's a good piece of advice. I would probably say, especially because there's so much like pressure in the world that I occupy, I would say don't mistake energy for force. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Mhm.
These guys, their voices are very energetic, dun, 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 dun. And so it can be very easy for students, especially screamers, to think that that means the underside of their vocal cords are going bum, bum, bum,
No, no, that's the drum that does that, not you.
exactly. That's the drum.
Drum, the guitars, the production does a lot for the energy, and you just have
Mhm.
to like do your thing and not push it too much. That's true.
And the
Mhm.
emotion and the delivery. It doesn't have to be like there's really not a time where we're going to want to take our vocal cords, press them together really hard, and smack the underside of them. Like, just it doesn't have to
They're
be that.
fragile little vocal
They
cords.
they really are. They need to be treated properly. All right. Well, that being said, I know you got a busy afternoon. I got a busy afternoon. So hopefully
That was nice.
everybody watching enjoyed this conversation, and we'll do another one soon. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right.
Amazing.
Hell yeah.
Take care. Talk
Many
soon.
thanks. Much love. We're out.